For the Bible school students here, for the ministry school students, study the Chronicles. If you want to understand the calling of Israel, study the Chronicles of Israel, 1st and 2nd Chronicles. To understand the calling, you want to understand Chronicles. Why? Because the Chronicles, the chronicler of Israel, the Chronicles is a priest writing to his own people in captivity in Babylon to remind them of what their calling is. So when you read 1st and 2nd Kings, if you're an introductory Bible student, you jump into 1st and 2nd Chronicles and you go, I feel like I read this before. It's like, no, read it again. It's not really focusing on the people, it's mostly focusing on the tabernacle of David. In other words, it's focusing on where God's presence is in Jerusalem. As a picture of where this is going in the future, he's trying to inspire them to go back to Jerusalem from Babylon to work towards getting God's presence back, getting his presence in the temple again, bringing God home, dwelling with God again. The dream of the Jewish heart in the Chronicles was meant to be the dream of living with God again. We want God as our neighbor again. We want God in our city again. So when they're talking about the tabernacle of David in the book of Acts, Acts 15, they're not thinking about the glory days. They're not going, man, those days back in the day when David had that tabernacle going, we got to get that going again. No, James, the apostles, they understood what the tabernacle of David was. They understood what the prophet Amos meant when he said, we're going to rebuild the tabernacle of David. They knew that Amos wasn't saying, we're going to go back and recapture our glory days in our past. We're going to get the glory years of Israel back. They knew that's not what they meant. Amos didn't mean we're going to rebuild what was lost. Amos meant what it represented, what it's supposed to be, where it's going. This is where it's going. Where's it going? James tells us. End of paragraph I. The fullness of the calling of God on Israel means that Israel will be a kingdom of priests who will rebuild the tabernacle of David, but in its fullness, not what it was, but what it will be. And what's its fullness? James tells us in Acts 15, the fullness of the tabernacle of David, when we become the kingdom of priests that God called us to be, the entirety of the human race, all of mankind will be able to seek or encounter, engage with the Lord. Even the Gentiles, we're gonna build a place, James said. Our calling as a people is to build a place where Gentiles can encounter the God of Genesis 2. The God of Genesis 2 is God on earth. That's the vision that the Apostle James has in Acts 15. It's not just a vision for, hey, we gotta all get along. He's not thinking we gotta all get along. He's thinking we gotta do our part. If we step into our calling, we'll build a tabernacle where Gentiles can encounter the manifest God in all his glory. What a statement. When you catch Israel's calling to build a place for the nations of the earth to encounter God, it's our story, Israel's story that we've kind of snuck into. This story that we're a part of. It's the story of what humanity lost in the garden, followed by humanity's desperate attempt to try to get that blessing back, get that favor back, get that more back. I want the favor, I want the blessing, I want the big, I want the numbers, I want the fame, I want the notoriety, I want to be noticed, I want to be heard, I want to be influencer. I want to matter. You can't hear it? You can't hear what every 22-year-old that doesn't know Jesus is shouting in desperation across every nation of the earth? In a desperate hour where everybody's fake connected, nobody knows anybody, everybody's alone, and everyone's shouting, I want to matter! But they want to matter on their own terms. Everything's about your voice. Make your voice heard. Make your voice known. Be important. important, make a difference. It's all fake, phony, powerless, empty, dead. None of it of any meaning or significance. The only thing worth throwing our lives at is the restoration of the earth, life from the dead. A global revival led by Jesus, orchestrated by a victorious church filled with the Spirit, moving in authority, heading towards the second coming, bringing Jesus back to the planet. It's the only thing that matters right now. We cannot run around wasting time in our own little foolish endeavors that have no eternal significance. I believe the Lord, He's gonna let it get worse and worse and worse, because I think there's some of us that secretly believe we can still salvage this thing. No, I think we can still salvage this thing. Don't be in unbelief, brother. I think we can still salvage this thing. And I believe the Lord is gonna starve us out until we're ready to sign up for His crazy plan. Now I wanna tell you, the Lord's plan is crazy. It is. How many of you were here last service? How many of you that were here last service would agree with me the Lord's plan is crazy? I mean, you were here, you get it. It's like, yeah, I get why the Lord would starve us out of all of our strategies, all of our leadership summits, all of our different little things that we're doing to do a little more church growth. I get why the Lord would starve us out, because He's just waiting with His plan. He's just going, guys, I got the plan. I don't even care if you like it. I'm gonna get you so desperate, you won't even like my plan. But you'd be like, it's better than my plan. How else do you think? Because if you want to know which of the sons of Noah we are, we're most likely the sons of Japheth. Noah calls the sons of Japheth, he calls them expansive. It's a kind way of saying you guys are like builders. But you gotta build under the leadership of Shem. You gotta build under the leadership of Jesus, which means that you're building thing. That you always want to build your own thing. You want to build your own thing. You want to build your own thing. You want to do your own thing. You want to build. You got ideas. I got plans. I got strategies. The Lord goes, I want to take all that energy to build, and I want to hand you my plan. I want to take all of your energy to create. Oh my gosh. Brother, you don't get it. You just can't relate. I'm an artist. You're not a worship leader. No, brother, I'm an artist. Oh, okay. What does that mean? I just want to express me. Okay, why? Have you looked at the news? Are you thinking that the little pebble you're gonna throw in the ocean of your creativity is gonna last more than 20 seconds in a culture that's devouring itself? Are you seeing what they're doing? Are you seeing where this is going? And are you seeing how fast this is going? Are you seeing how fast the house is burning down? You're really gonna think you're gonna do some more art? When the house is burning down. I love art. I love art more than you. I'm more artistic than you. But when the house is burning down, I don't want to talk about your art. I want to talk about how we get out of this burning house. Like, what are you doing? Of all the eras in human history to make this about you, you picked the wrong one, I assure you. We have got to get into His plan as fast as possible. We've got to take every opportunity handed to us by grace and talk to Him and go, God, tell me the plan. This is not the hour for more good ideas for me. This is not the hour for more of my creativity. This is not the hour to show you how gifted I am. This is not the hour to show everybody how much I can shine in the anointing. This is not that hour. But the Lord goes, no, it's okay. I am in a hurry, but I'm not in a hurry. I'll keep starving you out because I think you still think this is a little about you. And so that's why you get annoyed when a preacher says it's about them, Israel. You get annoyed that it's about them, not just because of the gospel insecurity I said earlier, but there's that vestige of me. I've arrived at the end of the age, and I'm gifted, brother. Am I being too? Just I want to make sure. I'm not looking for your applause. I'm looking for your repentance. Really, I'm trying to say it in a light way, but beloved, I feel like we approach messages like this still holding our options in our back pocket. Well, I heard Sliker on Friday night. It was pretty good. What are you talking about? I'm talking about a historic thing. I'm pointing at a historic thing that's happening right beneath your nose. And I'm pointing at it so that I can point to a plan that God is unfolding on the other under your other nostril. And I'm saying, guys, you're imagining there's another plan. You want to figure out your way into another plan. I'm telling you, we're getting backed into a corner here. And we're not getting backed into a corner by the devil. We're not getting backed into a corner by politicians. We're not getting back into a corner by the transgender movement. We're not. We're getting backed into the corner by God. But he's doing it because he loves us, because he knows our Japheth-like propensity for plan B, C, D, and E. Anything that we can attach our name and Instagram handle to, we are in. And the Lord's like, nah, guys, I'm gonna bring you into something beautiful and glorious, but I'm gonna do it on my terms. And my terms, it's about my plan to get you fighting for their calling. And I want to tell you, it's the most miraculous thing. It's the most beautiful thing to get individualistic, Greek-minded, accidental, narcissistic Gentiles. It's accidental narcissism. It's not on purpose. Accidentally narcissistic Gentiles to get us out of ourselves, to get us contending for a people that aren't actually all that easy to contend with and contend for. Let's not be romantic and sentimental. It's not like we're gonna enter into contending for Israel's calling and they're gonna be like, wow, you guys are amazing. Bless you, bless you, bless you for doing this. They're gonna be like, who cares? We're like, you should care. I mean, it's not gonna be, from now till Jesus returns, it's not gonna be easy on our flesh. It's not gonna be easy on our soul. But if the faster we get on his team, the more exhilarating it is for our spirit. They have a calling to host the presence of God on earth. And when the presence of God is on earth in Jerusalem, there is no more abortion on planet Earth. When the manifest presence of God is in Jerusalem, there is no more human trafficking on planet Earth ever again. That's when Paul says it's life from the dead, he means the absolute end of whatever justice issue you pretend to care about. It's the absolute end. God goes, you can come up with all of your strategies. I've got a plan. You're not gonna like it, but it's gonna work. Let's stand.